Good morning, folks. Very good to see you today. Just a brief run through. We're obviously coming to the close here on everything that's going to be counted in Clark County. Yesterday, we saw a little over 1,200 ballots go through, and as I have been mentioning for many days, it's going to be a small group of ballots that come in through the mail now, because the only thing we have left now are cures and the ID required from Friday. Those were manual emails that came in, and so it is taking some time to go through those and identify exactly which ballots should be counted, because the voter properly sent us by 5 p.m. on Friday a copy of their ID. So we have staff continuing to go through that. Any increases in the mail from here on out will either be a cure from the voter or one of those ID required. Again, the deadline for cures is Thursday, the 12th of November at 5 p.m. The provisional update. We are making good progress on all of those records. We have received reports from the Secretary allowing us to go through our provisional information and make determinations. Those will be loaded into the system no later than Thursday. So I can't tell you exactly how many right now have been verified to be good to count, but we are making good progress and will definitely be able to bring those into the system. Today's the last day for U.S. mail. We received 7. So there are 7 ballots that'll come in from the U.S. mail this morning, and that'll close out all of the mail in Clark County. With that, I'll answer any questions that you have. Yes?
Joe, up to this point, and especially yesterday, the Secretary of State and Attorney General Aaron Ford both, I guess, kind of had your back, talking about the integrity of the election here in Clark County. How does it feel to have the backing of the state and having them going at the bat for Clark County?
We appreciate the support of the Secretary's office, obviously, and the Attorney General. We work closely with the Secretary of State. The Attorney General is very familiar with our processes here. He is from Clark County, and he and I have known each other for some time. It's not uncommon for either of those offices to reach out when they have any questions related to what we do. We're always open and honest with what we do, and I think that has resulted in the support that we receive here in Clark County, not because of me personally, but because of what we do here, working with our DA and all the people that make sure that things are run correctly in Clark County. So I'm not surprised that they support us. They're very aware of what we do, and we're glad that we do have their support.
A quick clarification on the Agilis counting. I believe you said yesterday that 30% of ballots that went through the Agilis were automatically verified and 70% had to go through and be manually verified. That's in the ballpark, right?
Yes.
Of that 70% that had to be manually verified, about what percentage of those were ultimately rejected through the manual process?
All of our information is posted on the website, so those would be cures. There are other reasons why ballots could go through and be manually verified. However, once they go to the counting board, they also get spoiled because voters inadvertently put 2 ballots into one envelope, in which case we don't know which voter signed for that ballot, so neither one of them are good. People identify their ballot. They don't read the instructions and try to make a correction and maybe initial on the ballot. Statute very clearly states that we cannot count those ballots. So, yeah, those numbers are publicly reported. I don't have them off the top of my head.
Joe, how many cases of alleged voter fraud were passed on to the Secretary of State's office?
I believe my PIO has that information, and it would be better if he shared that with you. There's a million things going on here related to the count, and I don't want to confuse those numbers. However, he does have that information, and I believe shared that yesterday.
And can you explain the guidelines for military voters and why technically they do not have to live here while they vote?
Well, obviously they're serving the country, so they're not here in Nevada. However, they do declare Clark County as their home residence, and so that makes them eligible to vote. Even retirees have the ability to live somewhere else but still claim Nevada if they at one point in time served in Clark County. So there are a large number of veterans who claim Clark County as their home residence, and so they are eligible to vote, and we do process their ballots.
Joe, any requests for recounts yet?
No, they can't make that request until after the canvass. After the canvass is complete, they need to make that request within 3 days, and then at the same time pay the fee for us to recount those ballots. So I don't have any I have some inquiries about exactly how the process works yet, but we don't have any yet because they're not eligible to put those in until after the canvass is complete, which is Monday, the 16th.
Joe, Monday the 16th is statutory, that could not be changed or delayed, is that correct?
That would have to take some type of court order in order for something like that to happen. It's defined in AB4, which was passed in the special legislative session.
I wanted to follow up, if I can, on the question about complaints. I know we caught up as of yesterday. I think maybe the question would be, have there been any new complaints submitted that you may have passed up to the Secretary of State?
Not that I'm aware of, but again, I would give that to my PIO's office. They're doing an excellent job of helping me to keep all of this straight. And also my civil DA, who's been doing an excellent job. My representative down there is extraordinary as well. I'm very fortunate and blessed to work with so many talented people who keep me out of hot water. And they are definitely a group that has been working tremendously hard to keep all of these legal challenges in play and make sure that we're complying according to what's required by the law. So I would ask you to get with a PIO.
Just being 6 days out from the final count at this point, tell me a little bit about your confidence level that every vote will be counted.
Very high. We've been working hard ever since we started to make sure. That's exactly why I've been confident in coming out here and communicating to you. We tried very hard as a department to make sure that we're providing information that answers the questions that the general public has. So we're very, very confident that everything that we put through will be qualified voters.
Joe, or Mr. Gloria, a procedural question. On Thursday, you'll be done. Do you anticipate having anything like this to say so, or how will that be?
I don't think so. It'll be very late at night when we're done because the deadline is at 5 o'clock.
Right.
And so there'll be a mad rush to make sure that anybody that has cured by 5 o'clock, we've got to go pull those ballots. We've got to make sure that they get sent to the counting board to be quickly separated, identify those ballots that are good to be counted because they haven't been identified or anything along those lines, and then work to get those in. And these electronic provisionals that are going in on Thursday, that's a considerable amount of work that needs to be done too. So we may be working late into the night on Thursday because statutorily we have to be done by that date and there's no moving that deadline.
Should we maybe anticipate seeing you Friday morning at this time?
Oh, absolutely. At this current time. I work for people too. So if they tell me I have to do it at midnight, then we'll be here at midnight.
Joe, is the number of ballots that are still under 2,000?
Yes.
You said yesterday.
It is.
Mr. Gloria, you've talked in the past about how important transparency and trust in the process and in the system is for you. But for those people who are out in the community, right, wrong, or indifferent in their opinions, that they contend they don't trust the process and they think something nefarious is going on, what do you say to those people out there who are saying all of that?
I would say that I would ask the general public to take into consideration where you're getting your information because unfortunately there are groups out there who are working to discredit our office. There are communications going out to voters that don't come from my office, that don't come from the Secretary of State, trying to pass out false information such as that their provisional ballot only has a presidential race on it, which is not true. We changed that in AB 345 in the 2019 legislative session. All provisionals are a full ballot for all voters, regardless of the provisional that's provided. They're calling out to let voters know that their vote didn't count because it was provisional. They're calling out to let voters know that their vote didn't count because it's not showing vote history. All of the things that I've tried to clarify in these press conferences are being contradicted by groups who are calling and trying to confuse voters. So the only true source of information is the Secretary of State and Clark County. We are the only ones who can give you accurate information as to how you voted, how we have it registered, and whether it's eligible to be counted. And that's pretty much all I have to say there. You all have a great day. Thank you.